Well, good morning, Unity of Sarasota, and everybody watching. I hope you are having a wonderful morning in your comfort and jammies, maybe. Drinking your orange juice, staying healthy. We've got Reverend Susie back today, so that's a plus, a big, big plus, a very important plus. And we're gonna talk about how we're on holy ground. Now, that just doesn't mean here. That's wherever you walk, and where you are at home is certainly holy ground. When I walked through these doors, I felt a presence, and I knew this was a place where love abounds. This is a temple God we love abides. Oh, we are standing in God's presence on holy ground. We are standing on holy ground, and I know there are angels all around. Yes, let us praise God's holy name now. Praise Him anyhow, for we are standing in God's presence on holy ground. In God's presence, I know there is joy beyond all measure. At God's feet, sweet peace of mind can still be found. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For when we have a need, it's God's that answer. Oh, reach out and claim it, for we are standing on holy ground. Yeah, we are standing on holy ground, and we know, I know there are angels all around. So let us praise God's holy name now. Anyhow, for we are standing in God's presence on holy ground. Let us praise God anyhow. Praise God right now, for we are standing in God's presence. Yes, we are standing in God's presence. We are standing in God's presence on holy ground. Holy ground.
Thank you. Rob Satori.
Thank you.
I love that. We are standing on holy ground. I'm going to ask you to affirm that with me. We are standing on holy ground. Right here and wherever you are, we are standing on holy ground. Good morning. I'm Reverend Dr. Susie Shadle. I welcome you to Unity of Sarasota, where something wonderful is always happening. And I am really so blessed and thankful to be a part of it today. So grateful to be a part of it today. Oh, absolutely. Whew. Okay, as many of you know, I'm just returning from a pretty bad bout with COVID, and I will tell you that I fatigue easily, still working on deep breaths, and I still have some COVID fog brain, so I ask your patience if I get a little lost on occasion. I'll be back from wherever my mind wanders to, but I just want to say how wonderful it is to be back here with you. Oh, and so I want to greet and thank all of you who are joining us on our live stream on our website and on Facebook Live. So happy to have you with us wherever you may be in your spiritual journey. You're most welcome to journey with us as we journey on our own spiritual journeys. And it's always better together, always better together. Please know that Unity of Sarasota is a beacon of light and love, opening minds, touching hearts, and transforming lives. We are an inclusive spiritual community that embraces empowering and life-affirming practical spirituality for richer living right here and right now. And we join with our Unity movement worldwide in creating a world that works for all. I would ask that you let your friends and acquaintances and loved ones know about Unity of Sarasota on all of your social media platforms. Hit all the likes and loves and all the clicks you can click to invite them to join us online for our Sunday morning celebration service and also for our Wednesday evening music and inspiration service on 7 p.m. on Wednesday evenings. And I just have a few announcements that I would like to make. First of all, I want to thank everybody who stepped up and stepped in for me while I've been away. There are too many to mention, who some of whom you saw, and some were behind the scenes making it all work. And luckily, when I came down with COVID, I knew I had a few days before I really kind of went downhill, and I was able to pull together the holiday services that I had planned in such a manner that somebody besides me could understand them. And so I just was able to get that done and get those out to people, and I want to thank Phil Lieber and Laurel Rund for the Christmas Eve service, and David and Amy and Rob and all the folks who made all those services possible, including all the behind-the-scenes people, Julie and Virginia and Darlene, and I'm sure I'm going to miss somebody, and I apologize, but there are so many people that you know and don't know that make all of this happen, and I want to thank them for letting me just really not have to worry about a thing. So I appreciate that with all my heart, and I'm sure you all do too. It's not easy sometimes stepping in for somebody else, so I appreciate it. So one announcement I do want to make is the purpose for these beautiful flowers. They are in remembrance of Reverend Mary Ellen Young, a Unity minister who made her transition on January 1st. And so those are in honor of her. January 1st, she started her new year on the spiritual plane of existence. And so we give her blessings on her journey home and celebrate the life that she was here on earth and the life that she continues to be. So we bless Reverend on her journey and know that she is at peace and she holds peace for each and every one of us. I also want to let you know that in spite of our not meeting and gathering in person, in spite of the pandemic, in spite of everything that would try to scatter us away, I want you to know that we have a lot going on here at Unity of Sarasota, and it's all wonderful. And we've done so many things to keep us connected and engaged virtually and interactively online. And so I ask that you partake and support all of those opportunities, because it does not just you some good, it does good for all of us. And you can find out about all of those things on our website at unityofsarasota.org. And you can find it out on our newsletters. We can keep you abreast of everything that's happening, all the details, and how to get engaged and involved and what you can be about and do. And so I invite you to partake of some of those. And one of those things, I will highlight one of those things, that I will be resuming my Zoom meditation on the first and third Tuesdays at 5 p.m. You can find out about it in the newsletter. You'll need to send me an email so that I can send you the link and the passcode to get into that meditation. So this third Tuesday, which unfortunately I don't know what the date of that is, but anyway, you can look on the newsletter, look on the website. The third Tuesday, 5 p.m., Zoom meditation, but you got to contact me first to get the secret handshake, all right? And the other thing that I want to say is that I would so much appreciate, we'd all so much appreciate your continued support in prayer, but also in your pocketbook. And so there are lots of ways that you can easily support your spiritual community. Go to the website on the Contribute tab, and you can also go on the newsletter, and it'll show you all the ways that you can do that. And we do so appreciate that. And I want to, I'm going to do that right now.
Hold on, wait. A little surprise for Susie, because it was her birthday, right, this week?
Yes, I celebrated a birthday on the 14th.
Okay.
And so, and let me tell you what, it's the best birthday ever of my life. I got to tell you that right now.
So we're going to sing happy birthday to you.
To be here.
I want to sing happy birthday to Susie. Let's all join me and sing happy birthday to Susie. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Reverend Susie. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Post-COVID Susie.
Yeah, I got to tell you, this is the best one ever. I mean,
Yeah,
some
I can imagine.
some
You're feeling
some
thankful
things
and
can
grateful
cause
that
you
you're
to
still-
appreciate things that you took for granted before. That's for sure. So thank you. It was not exactly the biggest party I ever had, but I'll tell you
No.
what, it was the best birthday.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So
Hopefully.
so I'm gonna, now that we've got all of those things handled, I'm going to invite us to move into prayer and get ourselves centered and fully present. And so I would invite you to close your eyes or create a soft focus, something that allows you to be still and to be present, to be fully here right now. Knowing that as we bring our own presence to the center of our being, we bring the presence of Father, Mother, God, Spirit to the center of our being, which has always been there. But we awaken our awareness to that presence of the One within and all around us. And as we awaken to that presence within ourselves and all around each of us, that Father, Mother, God, Spirit connects all of us and brings all of our energy together. It does not matter where we are in this moment. In the human experience, in the physical plane, we can be scattered all over the world, and yet we remain interconnected in oneness and unity in the presence of Father, Mother, God, Spirit, which is who and what we are, each and all. And let us remember the truth of our being and activate that presence within and all around us. Activate that presence. Live the truth of who you are in all that you think, say, and do. Be the very presence of Father, Mother, God, Spirit. Be the presence of that light, that truth. And as we stand in that presence, we stand on holy ground so that each action, each interaction is also made whole and holy. And so stand tall, open to experience fully the truth of who you are, and to express most fully and expansively the truth of who you are. For this awareness of the truth of our being, I am eternally grateful. And most importantly, I am grateful that we are willing to be that truth. And so it is. And together we say, thank God within and all around me. Amen. I'm going to read our daily word, and I think it happens to be a really powerful one. The word today is dream. And our affirmation, I turn my dreams into reality. I turn my dreams into reality. Say that with me. I turn my dreams into reality. Use that as a mantra today. I turn my dreams into reality. Some of the most audacious, bold, history-making events began as dreams, born in the imaginations of those who understood the promise and the potential of humanity and worked to realize their vision. Even if my dreams do not change the world, they have the power to change my life. Today, I remember those whose dreams were fueled by their hard work, faith, and determination. I look to their example when my dreams feel far away and I'm running low on hope. I rekindle my dreams through my imagination, which keeps them vivid. My strength helps me remain committed to their realization, and my zeal renews my enthusiasm to work toward creating the life and the world of my dreams and of your dreams, of our dreams together. Hold the high watch. Hold the high watch for your dreams. Hold the high watch for our collective dreams. And be willing to activate them, to do the hard work with determination and faith to bring that vision forward. Examples like Gandhi and King and so many more. Lean into them and know that you too are every bit as powerful. Never, ever, ever underestimate who you are. For those of you who know our statement of being, I invite you to say it out loud with me. And if you don't know it and you don't have a little cheat sheet, I invite you to just listen and let it absorb into every cell of your being. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, who is perfect life, perfect intelligence, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. You are individualized expressions of God. We are individualized expressions of God. This is a Karen Drucker song. If you know it, sing with us.
That's easy. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. One more time. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Any moment that we embrace and embody that truth, that light, we are making a new world in this very moment, based on peace and light and love and joy and everything positive. The title of my talk today is Called to Find Common Ground. Called to find common ground. We're called to find common ground on that holy ground that Rob sang about. We're called to find common ground and to stand on that common ground, on that holy ground, for peace and love and joy and light and everything good, everything positive. everything that is the highest and best. As a minister, I believe that my call is to do my own spiritual work, my own spiritual practice, to deepen and expand my own relationship with Father, Mother, God, Spirit, so that I might be of service to educate and to uplift and to inspire. One of my early teachers and mentors, Reverend Jim Munson, said, "Read yourself full, pray yourself up, and speak from the overflow." And so that's what I'm doing today. I have been reading myself full and praying myself up, and now I hope to speak from the overflow. And so I believe my call as a minister is also to tell the truth not only about our spiritual experience, but the truth, that spiritual experience, the truth about the spiritual experience that we all aspire to have and to have more abundantly. But I am also called to tell the truth about the human experience that we all continue to have simultaneously with that spiritual experience. If we're still here in this form, we're still having a human experience, and we're not meant to bypass it. It goes hand in hand with that spiritual experience. And to fully embrace that human experience ultimately elevates us and gives way to the spiritual beings that we are. And like so many others, I personally have had occasion recently to be immersed in the spiritual experience, and even more graphically, the human experience and the human condition. To be immersed in a little bit more than I am usually comfortable with. To be immersed in a little more deeply than I usually allow or acknowledge for myself. For so long, I've wished to only have a spiritual experience, to only be a spiritual being. If I could just put aside the whole human thing, I would have. If I could have not had a physical body, I wouldn't have. Because it overwhelms me, quite frankly. It's too complicated. Spiritual, I understand. Human sometimes is tough for me. But I know that I'm having it for a reason. I'm having that human experience for a reason. Because if I weren't supposed to be having it, I wouldn't be. And so I'm a little more willing to embrace it, to own it, to learn from it. And so I want to share with you a little bit of my recent human experience of the human condition at the physical and the emotional level. Just now recovering from this bad case of COVID. Still weak, still fatigue easily, still having a little trouble with deep breathing. But I'm a bazillion% better than I was. But I'm not even near my 100%. And I probably won't be for a while. It's a slow recovery. I've always said one of my growing edges is patience. I guess I'm getting a really big lesson in that. I think I might pay attention. So, COVID. It's kind of ironic that after working so hard to keep us safe, I'm the one who gets it. Someone wrote me an email and they said, I just can't believe it. You worked so hard for so long to keep us all safe from this thing, and then you got it. Would have never believed it. I started all those things way back in January when people thought I was nuts. And then, as if there could be a bigger irony, let me tell you how I got this. I got it at a Unity Ministers retreat. I've been so careful for so long. And when I thought about the retreat, I thought, that's probably not a good idea. And then I thought, you know what? These are unity ministers. They've all been being careful. We're going to be careful there and follow all these very strict, safe protocols. And oh my gosh, it's a retreat full of unity ministers. Surely we have special protection. Not so much. So, irony of ironies. I'm here to I'm a walking irony. So, we're all still having a human experience. Believe it. And so, what I want to say about that is, you know, I've heard from people, I see the news and the whatever, and I hear from people that I know even, friends, family, who have maintained all along that this COVID thing is a hoax, it's not real, it's hyped up. And you know what? I'm here, standing, which I couldn't do not long ago. Standing here to tell you it is not a hoax, it is very real. The physical debilitating experience that I had, I have never been so sick in my life. I had never been that sick for that long in my life. I've never had a fever for as long as I had one. Everything ached. I was short of breath. There were times I was finding it difficult to breathe. I was delirious. It's like I was in this tunnel that was filled with a thick fog, and yet I was aware enough to know how miserable I was. I was delirious. I don't remember a lot of things. You know, I know people gave me Christmas presents. They'd sent Christmas presents, and somehow they got opened, and I don't remember any of it. New Year's Day, not a clue. It was also emotionally terrifying. You know, I just had a birthday last week, but there were times that I wasn't sure that I would be around for that birthday. See, that's the other thing, the fear. You know, I will confess to you, I was scared of this tiny, tiny virus. And I remember feeling that fear of this tiny virus, and it reminded me of something else that's tiny. It reminded me of the faith of a mustard seed. And I hung on to that, and I allowed my fear to be transformed into faith. And put those tiny little virus and that tiny little mustard seed together. And I knew at the depth of me, I knew at the deepest part of me, that the light of faith would always overcome the darkness of fear. And it did. And ultimately, I am rising up out of this experience with a renewed depth of faith and a renewed call to live the purpose that I believe I'm on this planet for, which is to uplift and to educate and to inspire and to live the principles and the values and the ideals that I teach and that I believe. You know, shortly after opening my church in Seattle and beginning my ministry, 9/11 happened. And after my initial shock, I remember the first thing I started thinking about was, how do I explain this to my congregation? How do I help us navigate through such an atrocity? How do I bring forward our spiritual ideals in the midst of this human tragedy? And then I got a little comic relief as I remembered that old TV show, I Love Lucy. Remember? You got some splaining to do. Ricky used to always say, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. And that phrase kept going through my mind. Susie, you got a lot of splaining to do to help navigate your community through what has just happened. I asked myself, how do we acknowledge and embrace both the human and the spiritual experience? How do we use and live our spiritual principles not as a spiritual bypass with platitudes, but for real, from the depth of our being? I had colleagues after 9/11 were saying, oh, let's remember, it's all God, it's all good. I said, you can't tell that to people right now. They can't hear that. Because at the human level experience, it's not all good. It's devastating. And we have to be willing to walk in those human shoes of experience and climb back into that spiritual level of experience. We're called to tell the truth, both human and divine. We're not meant to bypass our human experience with spiritual platitudes. It's not real. In this past year, in 2020, we've been confronted with the COVID pandemic. It's a tough one. I started those protocols in January and telling people you can't touch and we can't hug and we got to use the sanitizer and we've got to do all these things to be careful. And the reason I started so early in January is because this thing hit the United States 2 miles from where my church was in Seattle. That's where it started. And I had a lot of friends there that were keeping me informed. And so I got early information and I brought that forward. And I know there were some folks that thought I was crazy, and they weren't exactly happy with me. But I knew it was the right thing. When we stopped our in-person gatherings in March, I know that some people were upset and not happy. And some people are still upset that we've not been meeting. And yet, I had to do what I believed was the safe and the right thing to do for the greater good. And I am very blessed to be supported in that by our board of trustees and by our chaplains and our volunteer leadership in this community. And I think we have done the right and safe thing. We could have had so many more incidences of this insidious virus, and we haven't. And I'm here to tell you we don't want to. And now, on January 6th, we had a collective human experience of epic proportions on the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual plane. And like many of you, I was shocked by the attack on our Capitol. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I want to tell you something. I want to clarify this. I am not talking about political differences here. I don't care about your politics. I don't care if you're liberal, conservative, Republican, Democratic, independent. I don't care. You're entitled to your opinions. We all are. We're not entitled to settle them with violence. What I'm talking about here is a closer adherence to our values, the values and the ideals upon which this country was founded, the ideals and the values and the spiritual principles that we say we believe. I'm talking about something that is completely out of alignment with all of that. And it's very real in the human experience. I'm talking about the personal sense of separation, disharmony, distrust, and hatred that exists right now. And at the human level of existence, my friends, that is not okay. It's not okay. And it's certainly not okay to settle the differences the way they were on January 6th. I'm called to tell the truth, and I would be out of integrity not to call it out. Not to call out what in this human experience is not okay, and that we do have choices around. What took place on January 6th, just like the COVID pandemic and people endangering each other, and just like 9/11, at the human level of existence, it is not okay. And it's not okay to leap over the spiritual Grand Canyon into spiritual platitudes and do a spiritual bypass to pretend it's not happening. We are called to live a human experience and to use it to elevate us into the spiritual experience. And what happened on January 6th left many of us shocked and scared and angry and hurt and disillusioned. Every emotion, some emotions I haven't experienced in a long, long time, if ever. And now many of us are into much finger pointing and blame. And you know what? That's also a bypass. Finger pointing and blame is a nice and convenient and tricky way to avoid responsibility and accountability. If we don't call things what they are and bring them into the light, we can never heal them. Sweeping them under the rug by blaming somebody else and pretending we had nothing to do with it doesn't work. Finger pointing and blaming. You know, we've been doing that since the fall from Eden. Adam blamed Eve. Eve blamed the snake. The snake said, hey, I'm just a snake, and you guys bought into it. All of that blaming hasn't done a whole lot of good. Owning and taking responsibility can. And remember this, when you point a finger at somebody else, you got 3 of them pointing back at you. So we have to ask ourselves, where have we not told the truth while we're busy blaming and pointing at somebody else? Where have we not told the truth? When did we practice spiritual correctness, spiritual bypass, and not call out lies and injustice and racism and economic and social and healthcare disparity? Where have we not called out the wounds? Where have we not called them out and brought them into the light for healing? All of us are responsible for that. All of us. No innocent bystanders here. We all have a part to play. And remember this, silence gives tacit permission to go along to get along. And it's not okay. It's not okay. And even now, whether a handful of us here creating a service for you out there, we're locked down like a fortress, because you know what? Even now, there are alerts out warning churches that they are targets of possible attacks. It's not okay. It breaks my heart enough that we attacked the capital of the United States of America, but it breaks my heart even further to think that someone would attack holy ground, a church, a spiritual community, a mosque, a temple. It's not okay. I never thought I would stand in my spiritual community, in my church, and say we're locked up. It's not okay. We're all responsible to heal this. You know, it's messy when you cut open and lance a boil, but you have to do it to let the poison out so that you can heal. And right now, we need to let the poison out so that we can heal ourselves, our communities, our nation, and our world. We have to let it out. You know, I hear these cries so much of this is not who we are, what happened on January 6th. It's not who we are. And we have to face the reality that, yes, it is. It is part of who we are, but it is not the totality of who we are. And we must heal it. We must heal it, each and every one. You know, our unity principles align with the founding ideals of the United States of America. We are all individualized expressions of the one, Father, Mother, God, Spirit. Each one of us, including those ones that hit the Capitol. They've forgotten who they are. And perhaps it's time we help them remember. And I know it's hard. It's been hard for me to look upon folks who take violence as the way forward. It's hard for me to remember that they too are an expression of God. But they've so forgotten. Unity, our unity community is an empowering and life-affirming, inclusive spiritual community. How can we widen the circle? How can we widen the circle to invite and include more, and particularly those who are different from us? The Unity Movement worldwide says we are creating a world that works for all. I'd say we have a lot of work to do, because there are a lot of folks who don't feel that the world is working for them. And you know what? They're right. We have a lot of work to do. We're responsible. We say here at Unity of Sarasota, we are a beacon of light and love. Well, that beacon needs to shine brighter, and that love needs to be deeper and more expansive. We say that we're here opening minds, and touching hearts, and transforming lives. We've got a lot of work to do. Can't just throw that out there. We need to be it. And I want to focus on a couple of foundational unity principles. God is all there is. God is all there is, absolute good, active in everyone, everything, everywhere. Yeah, I found that a little challenging to wrap my heart around earlier this week. But you know what? I listened to a policeman who was being dragged down the Capitol steps and beaten by the crowd. And he knew there was no way he could fight them off. And what he did was, how can I appeal to their humanity? And he just kept screaming out, I have kids, I have children, I have children. And pretty soon some of those very people that were beating him remembered who they were, remembered that God seed within for just a nanosecond, just a little sliver, and they surrounded him and protected him from being killed. See, it's in there. It's buried, but it's in there, and we can help them. We can help those who've forgotten who they truly are by reminding them and showing them. We're created in the image of God. Our essence is divine, inherently good. Yeah, it's not easy to see that in some people sometimes. You know, when it's a cloudy day today, and somebody would typically say, wow, it's too bad the sun's not out today. Well, you know what? The sun is out. We just can't see it. God is within every single human being. We just can't see it sometimes, and sometimes we can't even see it in ourselves. And so let's help each other to see clearly. You know, we must, I believe we are called to cultivate and nurture our diversity within the greater unity of our being, individually and collectively. You know, the history of America is a story of increasing inclusion, but we're a little stuck right now. The Declaration of Independence reads, all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You know, all men used to mean all white landowners, and gradually it came to include more. And today, we're a little bit too stuck yet again in an old belief. All men must move to include more and more and more, and all people. Martin Luther King Jr., whose birthday we celebrated the day after mine, gave his life for more and more and more and more to be included. The world is waiting for us to be that beacon on the hill that we say we are, to be the change we wish to see in the world. And we're called to that great ideal, and to a yet greater ideal, to be one world, one heart, one soul, e pluribus unum, from the one many, and yet the many remain one. And it's bigger than us. It's bigger than this little community. It's bigger than this country. It's the whole world. And the most expansive freedom and strength of America or the world or of all humanity comes through the depth of our embrace of diversity within our unity. Diversity of every kind. Diversity in thinking and the way we look, and the way we sound, the way we worship, and the way we do everything. We're called to see and honor the divinity in each and all, to give up them and us, to realize that we are one, to realize that Father, Mother, God's Spirit is all there is, that we are one with Father, Mother, God's Spirit, and therefore we are one with one another, interconnected, not separate, not apart. But our challenge is to tell and live this truth as though we actually believe it. And you know what? I understand and I get and I have felt that that may just be a bridge too far over the spiritual Grand Canyon for many of us right now. Perhaps rather than oneness, unity, and United States, we should start by seeking common ground. To release defining ourselves and others based on our outer differences. To be open, to seek and to find commonalities within our differences. To respect the differences and begin to weave them together in the fabric of our diversity. To move from differences and separation to interconnectedness and interdependence. And most importantly, to allow our inner light to transmute fear and anger into activism of our faith. Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, all spiritual masters understood the universe has to be one, undivided, integrated whole to exist at all. Our founding fathers knew a house divided against itself cannot stand. We are now called to stand together on common ground in an atmosphere of harmony, collaboration, and inclusion in a shared commitment to our spiritual principles, practices, and values. I wrote that to remind me of what I believe is possible, to remind me that that is my goal, to remind me that I'm responsible for bringing it forward, and hopefully to remind some of you to walk with me toward that end. I want to share a prayer with you as I close. You know, I wanted to share one more personal thing. Many of you know I was adopted, born in Germany, adopted by an American family. And I became an American citizen when I was about 6. And I got this little flag when I became a citizen. And so I don't take this country for granted. I don't take my citizenship or my responsibilities for granted. I wasn't born with them. I got them later. And I cherish it. And I know you do too. And sometimes, you know, I know that even those people who stormed the Capitol, in their own way, cherish what this country stands for. We're looking at it from different lenses. And it's going to require a lot of listening and a lot of willingness to begin to understand how we each get to where we get to and how we can find that common ground and support each other in creating and building something powerful and positive upon that common ground. To move from disenfranchisement to inclusion and collaboration. We can rebuild, but it's up to us. Each and every one of us is responsible. So I want to close with a prayer that I'll use as a bit of a springboard for meditation. And it's all about seeking common ground and harmony in the midst of our differences and unrest. And this prayer is based on a Franciscan prayer, which was revised into an affirmative prayer by a colleague, Reverend Anne Marie Ocasio. And then I added a little bit of my own. So it's a progressive prayer, if you will, in the terms that it keeps growing. And I hope that you will grow it too. And so I invite you to close your eyes, to breathe into the center of your being, and just open to receive the message of this prayer and to be the prayer itself. May you be blessed with discomfort at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that you may live deep within your own heart. Breathe and contemplate that in the silence. May you be blessed with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that you may work for justice, freedom, and peace. Breathe in and contemplate that in the silence. May you be blessed with tears to shed for those who suffer from pain, rejection, starvation, and war, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and turn their pain into joy. Breathe in and contemplate that in the silence. And may you be blessed with enough foolishness to believe that we can make a difference in this world, that we are creating a world that works for all, that we are a beacon of light and love, opening minds, touching hearts, and transforming lives, so that we can do what others claim cannot be done. Breathe in and contemplate this in the silence. As you are ready, gently return your attention to the here and now, to this time and this space. And as you're ready, open your eyes. And know that you are called. You are called. And I want to let you know that that prayer will be on the website and in the newsletter for you to continue to practice and contemplate. And so blessings on your journey of seeking common ground. Begin by transmuting anger and fear into faith and action. And embrace the diversity within our unity. And so it is. Thank God within and all around me. Amen. It's another Karen Drucker. If you know it, sing with us.
We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones. We are. We are. We are the ones. We are. We are. I've been feeling like I can't make a difference. I'm feeling that there ain't no use. Feeling tired and a little unconscious. Coming up with every kind of excuse. And I realize it's not up to me. When we join together, we shape our destiny. See the world where we're living as one. It can be, it shall be, will be done. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones. We are. We are. We are the ones. We are. We are. No one else gonna make the changes. No savior gonna drop from the sky. Nothing left to do but awaken. 'Cause it's really up to you and I to take it one step at a time. Stand together with your hand in mine, and we'll see the world that we've been dreaming about. It changing now, and time is now. There ain't no doubt. I am the one that I've been waiting for. I am the one who will make a difference. I am the one that I've been waiting for. I am the one. I am the one. We are the ones that will change the world. We are the ones. We are. We are. We are the ones who will make that difference. We are the ones. We are. We are.
Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Just want to remind you that we do have our music and inspiration service at 7 p.m. this Wednesday. And the theme is Divine Order, and your musician this Wednesday will be Elaine Silver. I will be here, but I'm not going to be able to play my flute for a while. It takes a lot of hot air to play those things, and I don't quite have it back yet, but we're getting there every day. Every day I get stronger. Every day I breathe better. So I just want to thank you all for your support and prayers through this experience for me. because I know for a fact that is what helped me through it. I know it, and I felt it, and I love you for it. Thank you so much. And again, thanks for joining your energy with ours this morning. And please do join us at 7 p.m. on Wednesday evening, and again next Sunday at 10:30. We are hoping to resume the outdoor labyrinth services in February. I'll let you know for sure, but stay tuned to the newsletter and you'll know what's happening. And you know what? I have more than the faith of a mustard seed to know that one day, I can't tell you which one, but one day, not too far from now, we will come back together in person. And I will let you know as soon as that's going to happen, because like you, I can't wait. I just so look forward to our ability to come together in the flesh. And I know that for me, I will appreciate that more than I ever have in my life. And I know you will too. So blessings on all of our journeys. We're going to do the prayer for protection now, and then followed by the peace song. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
On earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God our Creator. Family all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
Blessings on your journey.